All right, welcome in. It's time for a November 21st. Why not? November 21st, 2024 edition of the Horse Racing Happy Hour alongside a fire. My name is Louie Rabeau. It's that time of year. It's snowing here in Louisville. They got the 10 races done at Churchill Downs today. Head toward the end of that meet, of course. We'll be out there, by the way, as part of our Rabeau & Co. Show 10 to noon here on the local ESPN affiliate, ESPN 680. I'll be out there on Clark Day on the Friday after Thanksgiving, so join us for that. We'll have Dan Illman on Wednesday next week to preview those races as well. Working on a guest for the week after for the Remsen, the Cigar Mile, all of those things. We'll make sure we get you hooked up with all of those things. But tonight we'll welcome in Racing Rachel from up there at Horseshoe, Indianapolis. Their season is over, so she can actually hang out on a Thursday night now. And so we'll see her a couple of times this winter. We'll make sure that we get in all those things with her. A couple of cool ones that happened over the weekend with the Claiming Crown. It was a great day of racing, spectacular weather, all of those things really worked out for all the folks at the HPPA, the Toba folks as well, thoroughbred owners and all that. And so just a great day of racing. Congrats to everybody who did win on that day at Churchill Downs. Really turned into a spectacular day of racing out there. Two of those winners did come out of their last races at Horseshoe, Indianapolis. So we'll talk about that as well. With Rachel McLaughlin, easy for me to say. And there she is. Hey, on stage and all that. Hello. Messy hair, don't care. Rachel, how are you?
It's the off season, baby.
I would just
I don't
like
even have makeup
hair.
on.
Like it's just not a thing for me.
Yeah, you're not.
It's
okay, bald and beautiful. Yeah, I am blessed with so many bald, handsome men in my life. Like,
who else you got?
Yeah, Eric, Jimmy Mack walked in the other day, bald. Like, I mean, I'm just surrounded by. I attract the bald men. My father-in-law is bald. I've got the thing, but yeah, it's the off season. This is Rachel literally packed. Do you want me to pan over so you can see all the saddle towels I packed today?
You didn't.
You guys are gonna get. This is a tour of my office. Okay, and there they are.
That's what it looks like. Whoa.
I literally had to pack all those today, and it was like herding cats because some people they wanted to tell me what they wanted and which number and all this, and it was just gosh.
Yeah.
So so I had to do that today, and then I had a while, and I was like, I'm not gonna go home with the kids being loud. I went to work out, and then I went to the and ate dinner and had a couple beers. So
here we go. All right, and we are
workout Rachel.
Workout Rachel and a couple of beers, Rachel, if you will, here on the Horse Racing Happy Hour. By the way, wanted to throw this out there. Email us, horseracinghappyhour@gmail.com, or comment on this episode wherever you listen to your podcast. I'll send you a sweatshirt for free. First 5 people that do it. So we got new merch on the Horse Racing Happy Hour. You send me a saddle. I'll send you one.
I have given you so much free swag. Are you being serious right now?
I'm actually not. And so we've had these. Man, Zach, jump on stage real quick. So producer Zach was out with us at Breeders' Cup, of course. And I think so. Zach got his sweatshirt. I have one. Oh, and my 15-year-old has one, and that's it. There are 3 people on the planet that have them, so that's it. Yeah.
Jelly.
Rachel's very angry that my 15-year-old has one. That's how this works. Yeah.
Super angry. Not the 15-year-old. I'm mad that producer Zach has one, I think.
Going after producer Zach. Let's go.
No, I love your kids. Just kidding.
Right,
hey, he started it in backstage.
All right, well, Rachel's with us with the Manor House coffee and everything else. Shout out to Jimmy Mack, man. I miss that guy.
I know, he's awesome. He got that for me because it says McLaughlin on it.
It's a very nice gift, actually. I'm talking to his successor at Turfway Park, Tony Kalo, tomorrow on the show, 10:20.
Oh, cool.
Head of the,
that's awesome.
He's going to tell me his opinions about the same things that you're going to tell me your opinions on. How that?
There we go.
Tell me the truth. You have this year, you're done. You have this big letdown, I'm sure, because you guys run for 7 months. It's a really long season there at Horseshoe. And then the Claiming Crown happens, and 2 of the horses that win come out of Horseshoe. What kind of pride do you feel when that kind of stuff happens?
I feel pride just handicapping the late pick 4 for Saturday, and there's horses that have ran in the Oaks and stuff. Yeah. So I get excited just doing that. So yeah, when that happens, I am tickled to death. And I love John is always on top of stuff like that for me. And he's such a good promoter of the sport and, the tracks he works for. And he never, ever forgets to mention when we're looking at a horse that won a big race over the weekend and we're back on Monday and I've got 2 kids and I'm a single mom. So I'm like, oh my gosh, you're right. I read that on Pollock Report. Like reminds me, because I'm not sitting at home on the weekend watching. I do sometimes, but I always read and try to watch replays, but he's really good about that. So I'm super excited. It's awesome. I mean, I just think that, Eric has elevated this track, like, and I'm not just because he's my boss and my friend, like he really, I mean, the numbers prove it. Like we were one of the only tracks that didn't show a loss, other than like the top tier tracks. So, I mean, I get tickled to death when that happens.
There you go. Of course, from Rachel there, that was a humble brag. If you are drinking along with the show, it means you got a drink.
Bar closed, so.
Bar is closed, yeah.
I literally walked up to the bar when I walked in and I was like, I'm not working for this property. I'm working for Horse Racing Happy Hour and I need a drink. And he was like, she just left. And I was like,
oh no, she can't leave. It's a casino. It's 24 hours. What are we trying to do here? What are we doing?
So in the OTV.
Oh boy, here we go. Oh, can't hear you, Zach.
We can't hear you, Zach.
Can't hear you, Zacher.
Start over. Start your crap talking over. He still can't hear you.
All right, he's done. He's done. He's out of here. I'm getting.
You're out of it. Go away.
All right.
If you can't deliver your shit talking.
Oh, that's exactly right.
Go.
What are we even doing here? That's right. Okay. You see an increase in handle again this year, Rachel, and look, I mean, the Indiana Derby's become one of those days on the calendar. People always say, hey, it's always the Saturday after July 4th, right? I mean, it's on the calendar now in a fixtured spot. That way you get your Goon Guard as a winner this year. The Sanity to Derby winner shows up. You're right. The track is elevated, and you can't do it in one season. It takes many years, frankly, to climb to the level that you've been at. Do you ever see yourselves at Horseshoe maybe trying to host that claiming crown at some point? I think that could be. Oh
gosh, that would be such a good idea.
Yeah.
Tiana, you just mentioned the dates, and Tiana, one of the trainers, just texted me. I forgot to put it on Do Not Disturb. She's like, "Do you have the 2024 calendar?" I'm like, "Yes, I'll send it to you in a minute." No, I think that's a great idea. And you know what? I didn't even think. I honestly didn't even think about that, but I'm sure that's something Eric has thought about before. But that would be amazing. I mean, I think that makes a lot of sense personally.
I just know, guys like Eric Hallstrom who are with the National not Eric Hallstrom, Eric Hamelback, who's with the National HPA. Guys like that are really complimentary of the Indian in general too, right? And so I know that there's desire for that to be at Churchill, just because, look, I mean, if you're a trainer and you're in the claiming ranks and you're doing those things and you can win a $150,000, $200,000 race and the picture's underneath the Twin Spires, that's a special thing. I get it. But I mean, Horseshoe, Prairie Meadows, these kinds of tracks that are doing it the right way, have the right kind of setup, I think would be really great spots for that.
I think so too. Yeah. Actually, Damon texted me. Damon Thayer, good friend, was like, "Hey, you want to come?" And I was like, "Bro, that's right after the meet. Like, give me some time to decompress, and I'll come to some of these events." But like, oh gosh, it was a grind this year. But yeah, I think that would be really cool.
Yeah, I think just a good cap on the year for you guys too. It works into your calendar really, really well that way as well. She's Rachel, Racing Rachel M on Twitter. Go find her with all the things as well. Look, were you surprised that either of those horses ran through? I mean, we got 33-1 on our second winner there. Zach, do we have replays from those? I actually don't know.
I didn't watch the replay yet.
Okay. All right. So no,
he's going to look it up.
All right.
That means no. You know what? Honestly, I mean, you're always surprised when a 33-1. You know what? I feel like everybody's always surprised when the Indiana horse wins a big race like that or comes in second. And it makes me mad sometimes. I'm like, why is that so shocking? Like, these are some pretty good horses that have run here, but it's just, the stigma of whatever. But yeah, of course it was a little bit shocking, but I mean, I think that it was kind of set up nicely for the winner. I can't even remember. I'm having a blank on the name of that horse. Who was that, Louie? I know the horse. I can't even remember the name. But I think that race fit that horse pretty well, so that made sense. The second horse I was a little bit shocked about though.
Well, yeah, I mean, when you close in a turf sprint like that horse did, it's always a little shocking, right? I mean, it's essentially get out front, stay out front, or be in that pack at the very front of those races. Let me see here. So the starter allowance in race 5.
I know, I'm looking at that too.
Man, being very, very slow for no reason at all, except that I'm live talking to many people.
Let me ask you something though while you look it up, because I don't. Okay, so like
Gal was the winner of one.
Yes.
And she paid $10. That was Cat's horse, right? Wayne Catalano. By the way, Ray,
Catman.
Wake Catalano, who I know you also adore. That guy, it is impossible to know
him.
if his horse is going to run first or 50th. He's in the same mood all the time.
You know what? That's a good point.
Right? I mean,
that man is a walking green flag. That man is a walking positivity person. Like, he is the quintessential, the glass is half full. Like, he's just happy to be running horses and cooking his food and getting good tips and talking to good people. Like, I love that man so much. He was so nice to me when I first went to Churchill and I worked there for like that month and like helped out. He was so sweet to me. And I was like, oh my gosh, Wayne Catalano's like the nicest guy ever. And I remember I picked like a horse that I literally just saw in the paddock that looked really good. She kind of felt feisty, I could tell. I was like, Wayne, put some money on that horse for us across the board. He put like $20 across the board, and she went off at like 40-1 and hit. And I was like the star for Wayne Catalano for the rest of my time at Churchill. Like, he was like, Rachel, start looking at those horses right now and tell me which one's going to win. I was like, I can't do it every time, man.
Love it. Oh, man.
Yeah, that was good.
And the second horse was Voodoo Zip. Out of the Juan Cano barn. Francisco Arrieta had the mount there. That was a horse that ran before that, had been running at other places. Hadn't won since a claimer at Turfway in March. Pops up and goes ahead and is like, you know what? I'm going to dominate this thing and take home $150,000. How about that?
Yeah, that was the one that shocked me. I was like, really? Really? Okay, but cool. I mean, it's good for them. That's a cool race. I've never been to the Claiming Crown though. I've never been there for that day.
There you go.
But everyone says they love it.
Voodoo Zip, a son of City Zip. So there you go on that one as well. Yeah, it turned out to be a really, really great day. And I go and I sit by myself and I have cigars and take notes is essentially what
the only way to do it.
It really is for me. And so I just get to sit upstairs at one of the best racetracks in the world and hang out and watch races. It's fantastic. I
love doing that too.
I did hobnob. I'm not going to lie. Like, I knew.
Oh, you went down and rubbed some.
Little elbow rubbing, little Byron King from Blood Horse, a little Hamelback.
Humble brag drink.
A little bit of all these things. You got to get down there. You got to be in the paddock so that the peasants can see you from outside. That kind of thing. It's an important thing to do when you're at the Claiming Crown of all.
I got asked to come back for Derby. I love working Derby. It's so fun. Yeah, it's really so fun to work there on Derby Day. And that new paddock club is so bougie and so nice.
And I
met so many cool people, like so many cool people. I met like the guy that invented plastic for vitamin water. He had like $30,000 in a bag. I was like, bro, why is this under the table? Like, I'll go put it in the office, buddy.
Yeah.
It's a level of craziness.
I think 30 G's to that guy, right? 30 G's to that guy is like $50 to you, right?
Yeah, that's what I said.
Yeah, right.
And I opened it and I was like, in my mind, I was going, Rachel, don't freak out. It's just 30K. Like, you see it all the time. And I was like, let's put this in the bag. Like, I feel like it was no big
pay
deal.
off my house.
Like,
no big deal. May I have that?
No big deal.
My house.
Yeah.
Send my daughter to college.
I know. And I was like, it was so fun. They were all so nice. And it's such a wonderful room. And I can't wait to go back in May. But yeah, Churchill's fun for me to hang out at because I get to see all my friends. I get to hang out with Joe and Scully, and I love Caitlin. And it's so nice not to have to work. I want to go before it ends so that I can sit and drink a beer and hang out with everybody.
Is this a safe place to talk to you about something that's happened in our relationship?
Yes.
So, like, I really like having Caitlin around because she jumps on my radio show and talks about horses. Is that okay?
Yeah. So you're letting me, you're cheating on me a little bit.
Big time.
And like,
not a little, like about.
You're cheating on me like a whole lot.
She's terrific.
I mean, honestly, I've been a side chick since day one, really. When this first started the show, I was the side chick. So I will be happy to just be the side chick.
That's true.
Caitlin.
Man, I would have to go back and look. We've now done over 5 years of this ridiculous thing. And I would have to look.
I was on in the early days.
Very early. I wonder, man, you, Megan, and then like try to think of female guests we had very early.
Yeah, but I was the side piece to Megan then.
At
now
that point, sure.
Yeah, exactly, for sure. Yeah. And then I've been on quite a few times since then. But then, yeah, I am 100% okay with that because I also love Caitlin. I just really like her. I think she's really talented.
She does a thing on the show. Once in a while, we'll be like on the third race we're going to talk
I think
about.
You're confused. There's only one side piece on this show, and he hides behind the scenes.
We share a
We're
hotel
talking
room.
we're talking front of camera side piece. Okay, you can keep your title.
Do you think I'll have the same little stage at the Indiana Derby this coming year? We're gonna have that little
Yes,
first.
but back up before he interrupted. I want to know the funny thing Caitlin does.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
we're on like first two races. She's like, yeah, actually I like a price in here, 8-1, blah, 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 7 horse, son of City of Light, blah, blah, blah. We'll get to the third race. She goes, yeah, I don't really like this race. I'm like, thank you. No, but thank you for saying that.
Yeah,
like,
yes, we're saying it.
I have a strong opinion about the first two races. I don't have one here. You don't have to lie to people. You don't have to have an opinion about every race. Now, if you have your job and you're at the track and you have to give out a tip sheet every day, that is a very different conversation. That is a very different
I just text Brian Aragoni and just say, what do I even say about this race, dude? Like I mean, and everyone has to deal with that in our job. Like I mean, it's almost like you're a football analyst, so you got two crappy teams going up against, you know what I mean? Everybody has that, but yeah, it's I love her for saying that as well. But yeah, and she can't say it when she's on Churchill, so I can't. I mean,
that's
I'm
exactly
not
right. So I appreciate that she brings that to this show. So the Reds. She tweets about the Reds more than she tweets about.
Oh yeah, well, I think her boyfriend used to play for them.
Well, she's just from Cincinnati, and there are like 3 levels of religion in Cincinnati: the Reds, Christianity, and family. Like it's that order. And so I think she just falls into that. And so she tweets about the Reds all the time. When they fired their manager, I texted her. I'm like, do you want to come on the show and talk Reds manager? She was like, yes. We did 15
minutes. Absolutely.
15
yeah.
minutes. That's great. Yeah, no, that's
it is. With her, it's horse racing, baseball, and cats. And that is Caitlin Free right there. And I love it.
She's up at 3 in the morning watching Japanese racing, petting a cat.
I'm
That's
not shocked.
right. That's exactly right.
I'm not shocked at all. I want that girl to pop out some kids so she stops getting up at 3 a.m. in the morning and watching all these races because nobody can compete with that.
Competition level's very high.
3 o'clock in the morning, I'm like dead to the world. Like
I'm drooling somewhere, and it's either I'm asleep or awake, and it doesn't matter. I'm just drooling somewhere.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Sure. All right. Well, our show is presented by Manscaped. Manscaped.com. Our promo code is horse racing. So if you would need a great gift for the holidays, or maybe you're like me and you don't need to pay to go to the barber anymore, check out our friends at Manscaped. Manscaped.com. Our promo code is horse racing, 20% off and free shipping to your house as well. Really appreciate them hanging out with the show. Zach, I looked it up. It's been 6 months. We've been hanging out with Manscaped. That is quite the run with them. Really appreciate the guys, Jose and all the guys over there at Manscaped. We're going to get into the handicapping part of the show now. You know what? I didn't ask you a question that I did want to ask, Rachel. Did you have a favorite moment, a favorite race? Did you feel great for like Randy for winning the trainer title? Like, God. If it's like 5 things, it's totally fine. You guys had another record year up there. Your boy hit the pick 5 for the Veterans Day thing again, which is awesome. We didn't even talk about that. We should probably talk about that right now.
Yeah, and I'm glad you said that because I was just thinking, I'm like, Eric wanted me. I was like, Eric doesn't brag like a whole lot, but I was like, is there anything that, because there's the press release out with Tammy, and we have all the numbers, and Rob does this sweet, because we're number geeks. He does this big spreadsheet with like every number, like the breakdown of live hand. It's my favorite part. That's my favorite part of the year. Is the first racing meeting after the meet ends, and I get to see what all my hard work went towards, which is like, all the hard work that we did, and we just want to be successful and bring racing to people. But he wanted also, I thought this was very interesting as well, that we not only beat the 2023 handle from what you see in the pools, but it looks like the international handle, which Eric's been really interested in because there's been some really cool, very remote places that have started picking up our racing, like with that are just really big fans. But that international handle is going to be up from last year as well. So those are numbers you really don't see in front of you, but they pay the fees, and that money goes towards purses and real handle. So definitely wanted to mention that. But yeah, Indiana Derby week was 15 million. May 6th was a big day, 12.
So Derby Day, you guys did $12 million?
15.
No.
15
Kentucky
million
Derby Day. I'm sorry, Kentucky Derby Day, May 6th, right?
Yes. And then Kentucky Derby Day we did 12.
You know what, Rachel?
Yeah. What, Rob? I'm gonna give credit to somebody that people don't know or probably think about, but our mutual manager Rob, who puts these numbers together as well, he is so good. And I try to communicate with like FanDuel TV and stuff when our post times
Yeah.
go a little weird. But Rob is so good about watching what tracks are running.
Mm.
And he purposely looked at the Kentucky Derby post times and made each one of our races between every single one of theirs. So like, what are those, degenerates? I say that lovingly, as you know, I love degenerates.
Yeah, yeah.
Gonna do in between the race. They know what they're gonna do the next race. They're like, what are we gonna bet on? And it's like we were right there. So kudos to Rob. He does a great job with that.
That's fantastic. And you do and I know this is Eric's initiative, but it is, the entire track really takes this on. Tammy, everybody up there. The initiative for the Homeless Veterans of America, the Indianapolis chapter. Rachel, I have to be extraordinarily honest with you. I shared this with our radio audience the other day. There's no more pressure in my entire year as far as handicapping than trying to hit a pick 5 for homeless veterans. I mean, that is it.
Really? Yeah,
like,
you texted me more than anybody else. You're like, when is it? What's the total? Confirm the total. I'm sending my ticket earlier than anyone.
I don't want to ever not put in maximum effort for that. I think I'm 3 for 5 now, which is 60% on a pick 5. Not bad. Like, not the end of the world for sure.
No, it's not bad at all. And we hit 4 or 5.
Right.
That was a sequence that I think we all kind of figured out, really. But it's just for charity. I mean, some jerks online were like, well, you put as much as you got. It's a donation, you silly person.
Yes.
I want to get in trouble again for calling people names.
Yeah.
But I will say that I don't know if it's just because it was the most recent thing, but I think my most favorite thing was these saddle towels, because it was a lot of work of messaging. Like, it wasn't like, oh, donate to this, what's that donation fund page? Click this link and then we'll send it out. No, I individually messaged every single person, and I ended up making an extra $1,000 for HVAF just by selling our old saddle towels. Like, some of them still have Indy and $1,000 on them. Yeah, and it was no joke. And I was hunting down people. I used my own personal PayPal and like Venmo, and then I got the money out today and gave the extra $1,000. And Tammy has over $5,500 to give them on top of the check donation that we did. So yeah, I'm just really happy that Eric kind of got that started and took on and has that special promotion, because they're just so deserving. And one of the rooms in the place caught fire. So like, I was really trying to get some extra money for them to like rebuild that room. So that was probably my favorite.
I'm really glad that has caught on. I will tell you, I've run into a couple of the other handicappers in that group, and they all feel
they love it.
Identical to how I feel. Like,
yeah, fun.
That's what I want to get. Like, Ellis Starr sent 5 apology emails or something. I'm not even picking on Ellis. Because we it's such an honor to be involved. And then you're like, gotta get this right. Like, this is the one. This is it. This has got to be it.
And Eric manages all that himself. Like, he has on his desk in there, like, talk about a boss that hits the pavement. Like, he literally has on his desk everyone's printout email and everyone's ticket paperclip to it, and has them all laid out on his table in his office. And he's always watching them. And like, yeah, he puts in work for veterans. I mean, his dad served. And so, yeah, he shout out to what general manager does like this. I mean, I've seen him wiping windows down and cleaning cobwebs before. The man's a
Rachel,
weirdo.
We're there. We're doing our show. There's a line to get programs. Eric sees there's a line to get programs at the Indiana Derby. He walks downstairs and says, give them out for free. I don't want to see a line.
Yep. I 100% am not shocked about that.
Like, just literally just looked at the person at the desk and said, give these away. Do it right now.
Yeah, I could brag about him all day, but I will say this. I remember, like, when he first started, he would just do stuff like that. And like, the horsemen would be like, what is he doing? And I'm like, Eric is like a good guy. He's such a team player. Like, one year they were like, oh, we don't have enough. During COVID, it got really sketchy with bartenders, which, you work here every time. Everyone always biggest complaint is we don't have enough tellers, we don't have enough bartenders. Well, it's because we can't, like, it's not that we don't want to get them. We just can't find enough. We, bring them in. Anyways, long story short, him and his wife, Chris, who is like one of my best friends,
awesome,
went and got their liquor license so they could just not to like pour drinks, but just so they could give beers and tell people like, hey, if you need beers, we'll help you. There's only one waitress. And like, just for the winter, because there was nobody to work. And I think that speaks volumes to them. Like, they will literally do an intern's job if it means that the racing fan is happy. So
that's exactly right.
So anyways, those are my favorite things. And Ray emceed her own t-shirt toss this year for the first time, all by herself. That was awesome.
Let's go. That's
Raising
also a
a little
humble
mini.
brag if you are following along at home. Go ahead and finish that first drink. All right, so we move on to the handicapping. At some point, we will have to talk horses here. The Shaluki is on Saturday. Rachel, do you remember Shaluki's career at all?
Mm-mm. You guys have to remember, I'm like the only girl analyst in like the history of the world that doesn't have like their whole family was in horse racing
You and me
or
both.
their jockey husband or
Yeah.
whatever. Yeah, I'm a dude. There's a lot of guys who are like such avid horse racing, they want to do this job. I'm obsessed with horses and I fell in love with it later in life. So there's a lot of that I just don't know because I really wasn't around it. You know what I mean? But you know, I even am very excited to be handicapping this grade 3 though, and it looks really good.
This is a great race. She did win 2 grade 1s, 2 grade 2s, and she won 3 grade 3s in her career, including
What a beast.
She was a beast. The distaff handicap there in November. So it's now this race, the grade 2. It's now grade 3, the Shaluki, 300,000 in the kitty. Here we're going a mile over the 1-turn mile chute at Churchill Downs. We had Travis Stone on last week, and Rachel, he said he can't see over the wall. Have you been up there in broadcast? Travis Stone, he broadcasts the races at Churchill. Or he calls races.
Oh, yeah, I've hung out there with him, yeah.
Okay, so you know how high that ridiculous thing is, right? So, like John Dooley at your place, second floor,
it's down here. His is like
7th floor. Like he's way up there, but the wall is in the way of the mile chute at Churchill. So he's just guessing essentially. Like he said, once in a while, I just list the horses in the race until they get out of the chute.
I can't even say that.
We also found out I think Zach was here for this. He didn't know the name of the turf course at Churchill Downs.
What is Zach doing?
He's probably listening to music and not paying attention. He didn't know that it was called the Matt Wynn turf course.
He didn't?
Matt in Parimutual Racing. He didn't know it was named after him. Because I asked him, I'm like, do you say they're crossing over to the Matt Wynn turf course? And he's like, does the turf course have a name?
Does the turf course have a name?
That's another soundbite.
Top 5.
I love Travis. I think Travis is one of the most down to earth track announcers like ever. Like I see him at the NHC.
Yeah.
And Dooley's like that too. But like, dude, I just love Travis. He's so funny. But yeah, so I know from Matt Metz is the Echo-based caller there, and he has shown me the back way up there. So like every time I go visit Matt Metz and Travis, I am in heels walking up 40 freaking flights of stairs in the back stairway. Nobody stops me. Even on Derby Day, I don't even think people know it exists. And I like go up there and it's a haul up there. But I'm not shocked. I've never heard him talk about not being able to see around that though.
I just love I just love that story that he's like, yeah, I'm just kind of guessing.
Travis Stone has the most confidence of any human I've ever met. Yeah. Like he gives off the energy of a very confident person. Like who is so confident they're like, I just call names until they come around the corner. Travis freaking Stone, that's who.
Like, there's a name for the turf course? I don't know. Like, okay.
Listen, I just do my job, bro. I show up, I call horses. Exactly. I'm good at it. Peace.
The 8th race is
I love him.
It's a mile. It's $300,000. It's like they're running in the Indiana Derby, but they're not. So Rachel, who did you land on here? Nice 8-horse field here. Too Sharp comes in as the favorite here. Never gone a mile.
Yeah, and you know what? There's some horses that have ran in Indiana. Heck, I just gave away. I packed up an Ouvre, the 7 towel. Yep,
well,
that she scratched. Okay. Yeah, I know, and I packed up her towel. I don't remember who got it, so mazel tov to you. But yeah, so there's some horses that have ran in some big races and here. Taxed, obviously ran here. And Too Sharp, you got to include that one. I mean, the last race speed figure is Chef's Kiss, so it'd be silly to leave that one out. But I think what I did was I went 1, 2. I like the 1 as my long shot, so I went 1, 2, 4, 8.
Okay.
I think obviously the 8 Fancy I think has a nice shot at 6-1 as well. I mean, this is obviously, a pretty big step up. But ran in the same race a couple back with Pagali at Ellis, which it was still a while ago, August 11th. But I mean, put up 100 I look at Brisnet. I know a lot of people like Fire, but I think Fancy has a good shot with that speed, and Pagali as well. But my long shot is the one in here. Little bit of a freshening, but Safi is 24% off of just that couple month layoff, which I love. Ran in a grade 3 last time, and even fourth in a 9-horse field. And then I went back because I was like, man, this horse hasn't ran 2 turns in a while. The last time this horse ran a mile was in December of last year, and it ended up only being beaten a length. So that I always like to compare the same distance races, obviously, but that's a big thing for me. So I thought, even though this one is a long shot, you can't pick favorites in these pick 4s.
Well, Louie Size is leading the riding title right now at Churchill Downs. He's probably going to break Tyler's streak. Frankly, I think he's up like 6 or 7 races. It's a lot, frankly.
Oh, is he really?
Tyler's going to have to make.
See, that's something you're going to have to help me with. I didn't have time to look up like stats and stuff. And I wanted to ask you when we get to the grass race, I want you to tell me how that plays because I haven't.
Well, I learned something from Travis, and actually it came very true on claiming Crown Day. I just didn't have the crazy horse that won in March at Turfway and then ran at Indiana. But anyways, Emonra in this case, the one horse, Rachel, just so people, we've got a lot of people who discover the show because they're trying to figure out handicapping and that kind of stuff. You're looking at that horse's history at the distance, right? That's gone 2 wins and 2 second places in 4 runs at the mile, right?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Okay. I just wanted to make sure people.
I can talk regular handicapping to people who don't know what they're talking about. If you want me to transition to that, that's my specialty. I hate talking over people's heads.
We're not doing that on this show for sure. Yeah.
No, I hate that. But yes, that horse has had a couple of months to rest, which is good for horses as well. If people don't understand about the horse, which I have my own horses that I ride, and I've been riding horses since I was very young. They do need the rest, is very important to me. And then, at the exact distance today of a mile, he ran a really good race. So, and it wasn't this class of race. It wasn't as big of a step up as this one is, but I still think that form might show us. How about the inside at Churchill on the dirt?
That's
that
totally
like?
fine coming out of the chute. That'll be totally fine.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Well, the thing here, Pagal is in the 2-hole here, and that's a horse that I'll be using, Rachel, and the one that you mentioned for your handicapping. Luan Machado,
how's he doing? Yeah.
Unbelievably great. Dude.
I've seen some of Ed's tweets, X posts, and I'm confused. I'm like, I don't have time to follow everything that's going on during the meet. I do a lot more in the off season. And I'm like, 1 second Ed hates him, and 1 second he loves him. I can't keep up with what's going on.
Yeah, well, no, he's hitting a 19%, and that's very, very, very good in the size of fields that we have here at Churchill and all those things. If you look at her form, this daughter of Blame and Pagal wins the Group Edel at a mile at Ellis, similar setup, wins over the slop in an allowance for non-2 lifers at Churchill. Before that goes the mile and a 16th in the Locust Grove and a mile and a 16th. In an allowance. Both of those races at Churchill, Rachel, are 2 turns. We're talking about the 1-turn mile here, and that's what Pagal does really, really well. So I've actually got the 2 on top in my handicapping. I'm with you. I think 2 Sharp is one that you got to put in here. The 4 is too likely. I really like Fancy on the outside here. Did the 2-turn thing at Keeneland, but that short stretch at Keeneland, which to me is a little different than going
that's so tricky
at Churchill, right? So if we're talking short stretch for that, I think the horse will translate just fine to the 1-mile course at Churchill, where the horse has won twice already and 3 second place finishes as well. Some of those are in the slop, some of those not. And so this horse has shown form over both. So I went 2, 4, and 8 in the Shaluki weekend.
Now that we both talked about the 8, I like it even more.
Well, good. There you go. Plus, Tyler, I think there's going to be a little bit of motivation to try to catch Louise. I really do. I think there's a little bit of pride on the line for him to be the leading rider again at Churchill Downs. And so we'll have to see how things shake out for him this weekend. Race 9 is an allowance it's a non-2 lifer here as well. 6 furlongs on the dirt. So 3 and up, $127,000 in the kitty for this one. Rachel, I'll go first here. A field of 11 feels a bit wide open. In non-2 lifer races, I like to go with horses that actually have less experience. Because usually
a
horse with 8 or 9 starts with only 1 win, to me, they have figured out that they can run third and they get food at the end of the race too. And so I like to go with horses that have not gotten to that point yet in their career. So I landed on the 3 here, who probably has run a billion times. That has, there you go, Attaché, but has 4 wins and 13 tries, has not missed the board the entire career. Trained by Chris Hartman, I thought looked really good last time in a non-2 very similar level at 6.5 furlongs at Churchill last time. I think the shortening up in distance will probably be really helpful. If you go back to Ellis Park over the summer, this horse had the lead many times at the 5 furlong, 6 furlong mark, just couldn't get it done. Did win at 6 furlongs in a starter allowance at Churchill over the summer as well. So I think Attaché, the 3 horse here, is a really interesting one for us to consider. The 6 later on is Trust Issues. Junior Alvarado is going to be in town, as is Flavian Pratt, someone that you and I both mentioned in the last race. Michelle Lovell finally got this horse to break its maiden. And once in a while, Rachel, and you know this very well, the light just goes on for horses, right? And they win a race and they go, oh, I could be out front and it's okay. Awesome. Let me try that again. And I think this might be one of those horses. And I get 8-1 on this horse. Ran an 84 buyer speed figure last time. Figured it out over 5.5 at Churchill. Pulled away at the end. If the horse repeats that form and the workout that horse had right before, I also love that Michelle's turning this horse around on 3 weeks rest. I think that shows that she thinks this horse is in great, great form. And so go ahead and get her 2 weeks rest. What am I saying? I'm doing the math wrong here. 2 weeks rest. She obviously thinks this horse is in
home and cooled out is what the trainers say. Home and cooled out. This horse is in form for sure.
I think 11 on the outside, Ricardo Santana Jr., fantastic housewife. For my neighbor, Whit Beckman. How about that? Little neighbor talk, little humble brag on a Thursday.
You're on a roll tonight with the humble brags.
Humble brag, little Whit Beckman on a Thursday. He'll trade a goo here. The two of them hitting at a lukewarm 25% in 4 starts together, but this horse looked really good at Keeneland and really good in an $80,000 claimer before that at Churchill for non-2 lifers. Ran a really, really fast 108 and change. 108 and change over 6 furlongs at Churchill. If the horse can break well from the outside there, I think the 11 will very much be involved in the equation at the end. And also, I think the 9 Band for Life, and I'm really just leaning on Louis Saez here. Rides for Al Stall Jr. here. This horse
was got to lean on.
last time out at Keeneland, but did break his maiden at Saratoga at the highest level in their 100,000 maiden level as well, ahead of Hurricane Nelson, who came back as a pretty good horse as well. So I'm going a 4 wide in this one, 3, 6, 11, and 9 here, Rachel.
Yeah, and I think, honestly, every single thing you said, I'm also doing those same numbers. The one that I threw in here was the 4, Colorado Cruiser, 10-1. This one's adding Lasix and blinkers. That's huge for a horse. A big change. But this horse is coming off a really long layoff, 9 months. You don't know why. We don't know why. We don't know what's going on. But it has a nice work. I mean, showed that that is good, because the work, on the 16th was nice. And it was 5 furlong. I like that. It wasn't a short one. That horse really clocked some numbers. So I threw that one in. Rafael Bejarano and Doug O'Neill. I think off that long layoff would be an interesting one for the upset. But I have the 3, 4, 6, 9, and 11. So same thing, just threw in the 4.
Yeah, you mentioned Colorado Cruiser, of course, the son of Catalina Cruiser, who raced at Churchill Downs one time in the Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile. So there you go. Before that, of course, in the San Diego Handicap and in the Pat O'Brien, which they just ran, of course, at Del Mar. The Commonwealth Turf will be a grade 3, and it will be race 10 on the turf, going a mile and a 16th. This is a 3-year-old race. This is the bookend of the American turf that we see over the weekend of Derby at Churchill Downs. So the closer of this one. There's a horse in this race that I want everyone to watch when they get to Turfway.
Who?
I know that's a strange thing to say, but the one horse in this race, My Boy Prince, is 5 for 7 with 2 seconds lifetime on the Woodbine Synthetic. And my sense is that while for sure they want to take a shot in this race, does Mark Cassie, I think you'll see that horse on the similar synthetics course at Turfway over the winter. You'll see this horse. This might even be a warm-up.
Loves the poly.
Right. Loves the poly. The synthetic championship that's coming up here, they're going to be running races at super long distances for 80K, 125 if they catch it in a stakes race. Look for the one horse here to be active at Turfway. But who did you land on here in the grade 3 Commonwealth Turf? And did you have a question about the turf horse?
Yeah. Okay, so this leg and the last leg are where I really spread, and then I found a single in the last one, because those are the two I think most challenging, because there's so many kind of wide open. But
your horse, your handicapping's a little diddly poo here, is what you're saying.
Yeah, it is. It's a diddly poo opinion. But also, I don't know how the turf course is. They didn't run on it last year. Like, what's it looking like is it outside, inside? Does it play fair? What I have not been able to kind of
Travis
watch
pointed this
enough.
out on the show last week. He was like, look, it's playing really fair, which I agreed with. He goes, if you've noticed, lanes 4 and 5 seem to be the best spots. So your horse that came out of a Horseshoe rallied late. Well, when you rally, usually you either have to go up the rail or you go outside. That horse got out to the 4, 5, 6 path, was able to zoom past. And so if you like a horse, especially one that's going to be closing a little bit late, that horse is going to have a great shot. But of course, get out front, stay out front. Never a bad thing to do in a 2-turn turf race.
100%. Okay, good to know. But we can't change our bet. So for this race, I went 3, 4, 7, 8, 9, and I'm not going to talk about all of them. I think you can probably talk about a few of them, but I will talk about the ones that maybe might not make sense to people. I like the 4 at 10-1, AK Sarbin Derby.
Okay, we got to pause the show. We got to pause the show. That horse's name is Exarban, and that is Nebraska backwards.
Exarban.
And so in Omaha, you'll see a lot of things referred to as Exarban. And so the old racetrack there was actually called Exarban. So it's an old Nebraska joke. There you go.
Thank you for telling me that. That's good.
Yeah.
So I don't say I say Exarban Derby. Okay, so the Nebraska Derby horse. This one is trained by Johnny Ortiz. I think he's such a great trainer, wonderful guy, great family. Junior Alvarado's up. He also is really good off the layoff. And there were a few horses this year that Johnny brought to Indiana that when he gives them this kind of 48-day little bit of a layoff, they usually run really well at good odds. And I'm not going to let that slip through my fingers, even though this horse is moving up in class, obviously. I mean, we're running at a graded stake. It took him forever to figure out what was going on, what he wanted, what he needed. He finally found a couple of races there. I think really this horse was just figuring it out in the spring. I think he is one that finally realized, like what you said, oh, it's okay if I pass horses. Like another thing for somebody who doesn't know a lot about horses are herd animals. They do not like naturally to be in the front of a pack. There are horses that are leaders naturally, but for the majority of them, they're followers. So once a horse does figure out, I mean, you made a really good point. Once they figure out they can be out and lead and they're not going to get eaten or something bad's going to happen or something scary, then they are like, oh, okay, that's fine. I'll go do it again. And then I always say in my handicapping, once a horse does something, they improve on it because once they figure it out, the second time's even easier for them. So that obviously, if you're looking at these running lines, that has happened with this horse. And his horse finally got in the lead, got up to close to the lead second at Ellis, and then won very nicely in a very nice ride by Edgar Morales at Ellis in August. And then came back in October, Hawthorne Derby. I think he's used this as a prep for probably a spot like this and has finally found it. So I like the 4. So I went 3, 4, and then I think the rest of them, like the 7, 8, 9, these outside horses make sense. I didn't know what to do with Evade, but seeing these numbers that he's put up in his races here across the pond, I couldn't really go against him, even though they were fourth place finishes. He was only a couple lengths off the lead. So I put him in, and then Hershey hasn't done anything wrong. That's an obvious one. And in these Steve Asmussen horse with Flavian Pratt, that would have been silly if I left that out. His graded stakes numbers are too good.
Yeah, that's and I have Laganos on top here, actually, the 7.
Oh, do you?
And Rachel, he's 0 for 9 this year. So I'm sure people are going, what is Louie doing? I have that horse on top. And the reason is if you look, the horse has been close a lot. This horse almost won a grade 2, a couple back at Saratoga. Before that was really good, actually, in the American Derby, was part of the early pace. We'll probably have to do something similar. If you go back and watch the Bryan Station, which was only a mile last out at Keeneland, that horse has the worst trip. And I mean the worst trip that you could possibly get and still gets within 3 lengths.
Gets stuck in traffic and everything. I watched that.
Not traffic. 5 horses, like literally doing everything they can to stop that horse from passing. And I get Flavian Pratt aboard a horse that wants to run forever. Let's go. I mean,
I did not obviously have time to watch every replay and all and everything. But when I see a finish that this horse got fifth by 2 lengths, little over 2 lengths, I was like, okay. And then I looked at the line and I was like, traffic inside, too bad. So I watched that, and that was a nightmare trip for that horse. So I like it a lot. I think you make a really good point. But you put it on top?
I have that horse on top. Yeah, I'm leaving the 8 out of my handicapping based on that Bryan Station. Actually, that horse was up front near the front. Didn't want any part of a mile. I don't know why that horse would want a mile and a 16th. So I'm going to toss the 8, try to beat it. I will use Evade, the 9 on the outside, like you are. 4 Mike Maker was also in that Bryan Station. Did most of the work later on as well. I think that horse can actually be closer to the front if Tyler's willing to do it. But I expect especially Laganos, trained by Steve Asmussen, to be a lot closer to the front. I don't think that Flavien Prat's going to let that one get way back in this group. Where is the Asmussen? There it is. All right, Asmussen. There we go. Oh, Asmussen. Everybody drink. All right, I'm having fun tonight. All right, getting back. Race 11 is a maiden special weight. One of my very favorite courses on the planet is the mile and a 16th course at Churchill Downs. They'll do that over the dirt, $120,000 in the purse here. 2-year-old fillies in this one, Rachel. How do you treat 2-year-old races generally for your handicapping? Are you looking for different things than we might see in other races, or do you kind of just treat it like other races that you would see on a card?
Well, no, I definitely treat maidens differently, especially if there's first-time starters in a race. I mean, that I call that fireworks. I love the 2-year-old races when we start those here. It's my favorite because I broke my horse. That's a trail horse. I broke him myself, and I know how 2-year-olds are. They're a lot of fun, and they're seeing things for the first time, and like the wind might blow a certain way, and they're like, "What? Oh my god!" So I love 2-year-old races. That being said, I think what I look for when there's first-time starters is I like to go through the dams. I think it's all about being a broodmare myself. It's all about I think it's good to look at the sire's first-time starter percentage, and then I think it's more important to look at if the mom did race, what did she like? Because, that sometimes will transpire to them. That's just my opinion. But in this race, I normally don't single, and I normally never single in a baby race because it's like a crapshoot. But at this point, this was such a very challenging sequence that I love girl math. I just love, first of all, girl math. If you get if you get $20 refund, that doesn't count. That's free money. Okay, you spend that. And that doesn't count.
No, honey, I returned it to Target.
I returned it. It's like, exactly.
We made money. No, honey, we didn't make money. Yes, we did. She's a doctor. Anyways, keep going.
No, but yeah, it's just a thing in our brain. So first of all, the name is top notch. Rosé is hitting. So it's so on fire right now. And then Flav.
Also incredible with 2-year-olds. I mean, it's really something that he is, as a trainer, really grown into as a role. Yes.
Every single time, I'm exaggerating, but it was more often than not.
Yeah.
If he ran a 2-year-old here and Alex Ashard was on it, it won.
It was over.
Every time Alex rode for I swear to God, the horse won. So they're
if people see him in the mornings, that's him on his own horses. Like that guy's he's a
and I love that. I love that like Ricky does that in the morning here for Brad. Like I just love that. And so yes, okay, so if you want to spend $100, which there's 2 different kinds of tickets. I mean, you can go for the 100 and 150 or whatever, or you can try to keep
Rachel's ticket on the screen. So if you don't usually watch us on Spotify or YouTube, this is a good opportunity to do exactly that. Rachel's ticket is up right now.
And if you want to put more money in it and you want to invest more, I would do the 5. But I do think as far as 2-year-old races are, the breeding is so good on the 5. Like if you want to spend the money, it's a gun runner and a Malibu Moon Dam. For those of you who don't know, very nice. This horse costs $200,000. Brad Cox is also phenomenal with maidens. I mean, his maiden percentage is insanity. When he debuts them at a mile, he's 28%, 57% of the money. That's an outlandish stat. And then he debuts them, and the maiden special weight ranks, and he's at 22%, 53% of the money. I mean, this is the one that I would include if you want to put more money, but I just can't go against girl math, not only because girl math, but also the speed that this horse has shown since her debut is a 74 on debut. Wow. Then we go with 284s and still hasn't won. I mean, and they've been tough races here at Churchill. Plus this horse has ran the mile and 16th distance, which is, I think, key, especially for young horses. Any horse doing something like I just said for the first time, it's always a learning curve. Especially young horses. And the other one that has ran a mile and a 16th is the 7, but the numbers aren't anywhere near what I think some of the other horses have. So, I mean, 3, 5, 7 would be my top 3. But for my ticket, I'm going to go ahead because I love Girl Math and single her.
I have 3 horses here. So Rachel was a little less skinny than me during the earlier legs of this, but I didn't want to say she was wider than me in the earlier.
You can say that. You can say that. I'm a dude. You know me. I don't care about that stuff.
But it's not true. I don't want to lie to the audience. I mean, who I really appreciate and like a lot. Manscaped.com. And so I got Girl Math on top here, no doubt about it. This feels like a stick around race and win-one for Flavien Prat here. I like Serafia the 4 in here quite a bit, frankly. Second time starter. Yeah. You with the 7 furlong distance first out. You talked about Gun Runner. We get a Gun Runner here, $1 million purchase for this ownership group with Twin Creeks Racing, and I love a second time starter stretching out here, Rachel. I think it's an angle that I love to lean on, and so I'm going to do that here as well. Totally agree with you about Calamity, the Brad Cox barn, debuting over a mile at a ridiculous percentage. He might be the best in the game, especially east of the Mississippi, with 2-year-olds as well. So totally agree on that. I don't have the 7 in my handicapping, which means the 7's definitely winning this race. So there you go. There's your besmirchment, needless besmirchment horseman.
Brian's so hot right now. I literally just have the number and Brian's name highlighted because it's Brian for Kenny McPeak. Like they're having the year. They're having the year.
The year. That's exactly right.
The year. And this is a close-up of my hot sauce on the handicapping pages because I did have.
If you're not watching, no, it was not just a picture of her face. She actually showed hot sauce on something. You were handicapping at a bar. I mean, listen. I mean, you were. This is the show. That is the show.
It's off season. It's off season, and it's after work. I do what I want.
There you go. So Rachel's ticket came out to $50. 4, 5, 4, and 1 in her 4 legs. I went 3, 4, 3, and 3 for $54 that way. I'm guessing this sequence, I think you have a better chance to hit for a nice price because if you hit either of those 10-1 shots that you like in those middle races, I think you'll get into that, float up.
It could go all chalky. Could be all chalky. It has a very good chance of being all chalky, to tell you the truth.
Well, there's some nice horses in here. That's right. I mean, there are some very nice horses running this time of year at Churchill Downs as well. Wanted to ask you, more likely that a 2-year-old who ran in the Breeders' Cup wins the Derby, or a 2-year-old that's running in a maiden race this month at Churchill Downs wins the Derby?
Oof. I'm on the voting panel for Breeders' Cup, and I watched all those races, and I'm going to go Breeders' Cup.
That was an unbelievably good group of 2-year-olds, and frankly, it's nice to have Bob Baffert back. It's nice to have Bob Baffert back in that conversation. It really is. It just is.
It is. Okay. It is just because it adds that little. But yeah, I'm going to say Breeders' Cup, and we'll see what happens. We'll both be there. We'll do a side beer wager. Just a little spice. Just a little spice. But it's not funny, really. It isn't. It's sad, really.
All right. Well, she's racing Rachel at Racing Rachel M on Twitter. You can find.
Yeah, and my beer's wearing off. Let's get me out of here so I can go drink.
We can do that. What is the handle for the track? We need to start doing that.
Yeah, it's at HS Indy Racing.
Perfect. All right, good. Okay.
Yeah, and a lot of people tag the casino because it's very similar. Because you call it, you don't call it HS Indy, you call it Horseshoe Indy. So a lot of people tag the track, and I'm trying to get so it's HS Indy. Make sure racing's on there when you tag Horseshoe, or it goes to the casino, and then Rachel doesn't see it. I manage that account, and if you tag the casino, they're not sending it to me. I don't know what's going on, so send it to me.
Oh man.
Racing has to be in the title. At Racing Rachel M, at HSNE Racing.
You know what? I got to go grab something. Hey, Zach, can you jump back on stage? I want to show Rachel something. It's in the next room, but I need to go grab it because it's about this show, and it's about something that Rachel did for this show a while. I'll be right back. Hang on.
I'm waiting at bated breath for this, Zach. What could this possibly be?
I don't know. Louie is obsessed with Horseshoe, Indiana, because you have probably the best races in the Midwest.
Humble bag.
No, I mean, I wish I was joking about that or being disingenuous, but our favorite place is Horseshoe, Indiana.
I feel like a lot of bettors love it because it's like midweek in the middle of the day. What else do you have to do? Like it's like and it's such a sweet spot, and a lot of bettors like really appreciate it that we
Not only
run.
that,
when
you
we
have nice
run.
restaurants, you have a
Yeah.
casino. Your viewing area is insane upstairs.
Oh man.
All the second floor.
Yeah.
That's a gift.
Oh yeah, the clubhouse. I know, and I always say, what do I say, Louie? I'm like, people always come here, like from California, and they're like, "Oh, this place is like really nice." I'm like, "What did you think we were doing out here in Indiana? Like running in a cornfield?"
So speaking of Indiana, one of the great people that Rachel has introduced me to up there is a guy named Roger. Roger's our guy, but probably
I
watching
love
right
it.
now. One of our guys.
My silver fox.
Roger did me a favor. I said, bro, I need you to go to the Cody photo office there and have them dig up a photo from a winner circle from Indiana Derby Day in 2021. Because that was the first time that Mike had ever been on a simulcast anywhere.
Oh yeah, I put him on the first time, didn't I? I popped so many people's cherries on the simulcast.
So Big Mike picked Big Fudge.
Yes, Big
that
Fudge. I
race,
remember this. Oh my
okay? Like 8-9-1, something like that. So poor Roger.
So Raj went and got that for you?
What a horrible thing to happen. Poor Roger goes. He picks it up in August. Okay. Our last show, you were on it. You were on Mike's last show. Okay. Jumped on for a couple minutes. Okay. The mail just lost it for like.
You told me this.
It took like 7 weeks to get here.
He was so upset.
I can't even imagine. He sent it 2 weeks in advance. Like he did everything that I want. Like it took the girl like an hour to find this photo. Like she dug. So shout out to the Cody folks up there. Like she dug.
Samantha's awesome. And congratulations. She's pregnant too. So shout out to Sam.
Hey, how about that? That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. And so, but
he told me he was Rachel because I like right after the show. Yeah. This was forever ago, so I forgot this. But yes. He was like, "Oh my God, I sent it. I did everything. They lost the freaking picture." And I was like, "Oh man!"
And I'm like, Roger, you didn't do anything wrong at all. Like, quite literally nothing wrong at all. Like, you did everything that I asked for, and the post office lost it. It's not nothing that you did. Well, Mike's getting that his birthday and Christmas are like right next to each other, and I'm the guy who's like, no. You're getting a proper birthday gift every year from me. I'm one of those guys. Whatever.
I know you are.
I'm gonna frame that up for him. And so,
is it Mike's birthday in January, like mine?
No. End of December.
No. End of December. Okay. Yeah, mine's January 15th, so I get that. Yeah. That's awesome though that you got
horse racing happy hour on that week. Rachel's
my
birthday show. Come on,
my birthday show. Let's do it. Actually, you know what I normally do on my birthday? I MC the Itoba banquet.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm not gonna really.
I was gonna say the same thing that both of us parents do, which is nothing.
Nothing. Because your birthday doesn't even count after you have kids. My birthday's never counted. It's January. Dude, the last thing I get, this is what happened. My brother's 2 years younger than me, and his birthday is January 23rd. Mine's the 15th. And so it would be like right after Christmas. So we wouldn't do anything for mine, right? And I don't really care. I don't want to get old. I don't want to celebrate my birthday. I'm 29 for the rest of my life. But they would feel bad because Rachel didn't get a birthday. So then they would get my brother like this huge, big birthday. And then I'm sitting there like, this is some BS. So I don't do anything. But every weekend, Itoba, my horsemen love me. So they're like, you know what? We're going to have a big party for Rachel and have her come hang out with us for her birthday weekend. And that's what I do every time. I usually get a hotel room. It's actually really fun.
The old Itoba hangout is what the kids call it. There you go. All right. Well, she is Racing Rachel at Racing Rachel M on all the things. And you can, of course, find me at Radio Louie if you wanted to do that. The show's at Horse Happy Hour as well. Rachel, I have that T-shirt still. I can't believe it, but I still do.
Where's the merch site for that? I'll buy it.
I know. The new shirts, the new AI, you know how everyone has AI is like AI cartoons? Like that was like handmade by my best friend Alicia, who I worked with. But now the AI cartoons, I look like it does not look like me. It just looks like a blonde AI girl. It has nothing like that actually looks like me. So I love this one, but we're out.
Are you trying to
I'll dig you up one of these, Zach.
Girl? Is that what you're trying to say?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and I own it. It's fine.
I mean, I can tell that by your pick.
Ah!
Oh, what a professional show this is. All right, Rachel.
This has been fun.
9 minutes and a half.
Who's talking now? Are we done or are you talking to somebody else?
No, we're done. We're done. How about that?
Done? We did an hour? Wow.
I'm a one guest kind of man.
Oh, no, you're not. You just told me I'm the side chick to Caitlin. That's a lie.
At once.
Yeah. You did like 8 on my Golden Wish show.
Out here, right? Yeah.
You're a racing man whore. Don't lie.
That's true. Wednesday next week for this. By the way, we're going early because of Thanksgiving. Clark on Friday. We'll give you a preview of that. Friday morning next week, I'll be out at Churchill Downs, which means I'll be out there the rest of the day. Come say hi. You know where to find me in section 320. I always have a cigar for you if you want to come say hi. She's Rachel. I'm Louie. This has been the Horse Racing Happy Hour.
Bye, guys. What is it? Is this how we're taking it out? Sprinkler?